There, Delroy the Spark again. I'm back at that industrial unit where I've done the EICR and the remedial work. They want some storage heaters put in. I've got put in 3 storage heaters. So get in there and get it sorted and hopefully film and let you see. It's right cold today, really cold. So yeah, see you in a minute. Bye. Those are the 3 storage heaters there by FP200 and 2 controllers. I think one's going on this wall here behind the door. Another one's going to go where this shelf is. Obviously that's got to move. I'm hoping to bring it along that trunking. That big trunking running along there. Hoping to bring it along there. Down into the fuse board here. Going to run 3-core 2.5 FP200 over to here, and I'm going to hopefully put a spur, metal clad spur, then into the controller. One controller will do 2 heaters. Yeah, this one here I think is only about 400 and something watts. These are 1 kilowatt each from the paperwork I was given. So 2 can run from one controller and the other and one on the other controller. Can we get those things out of the way so I could prepare it to... Yeah, so we can...
Sure that is.
Okay, cool. Problem we got here, a deal. It says here, the heater leaves the factory configured to operate on 2 main supplies. A 24-hour peak supply and an off-peak switched supply. Okay? And it says it here, look, you see you got the terminals here, yeah? Off-peak and on-peak. Now, I didn't have nothing to do with buying these heaters. Because usually,
Don't make excuses.
so in selecting these heaters, usually what you'd have in a domestic situation, yeah, heaters, you ever notice you got 2 fuse boards? I don't know if you ever notice it. When you have storage heaters, you have 2 fuse boards, yeah, and you've got a special meter that goes. You have one supply going to the fuse board with your sockets, your lighting and all that. Then you have an off-peak supply going to the other fuse board that's going to do the storage heaters. And at the storage heaters you'd have 2 sort of spurs. So from your normal supply you would take a circuit from there to the heater to give you a 24-hour supply, and then from the fuse board, the off-peak fuse board, you take a supply from there to the heater. So I knew that here they didn't have any off-peak supply. This is just an ordinary supply, 24 hours. So to create that, I got one of those Ostman electronic 7 things that I was telling you about, yeah, that I showed you. Is that I got that to create our own sort of like off-peak supply. When I looked at it and I realized it needed 2 supplies, I just had to have a think about it, and that's what I know now. You have to have, I've run 2 circuits in, haven't I? One for the 2 heaters up there, one for there. Well, I need another circuit, because them 2 circuits that I'm going to connect, they've got to go through a spur directly to the heater. Then I have to bring another circuit through a spur to the Horseman control, and then from there to the off-peak supply. So that's how I'm going to create my off-peak. And also it's a bit tricky as well, because normally the heater would have it's got its own time clock and everything to give you off-peak and all that. So I've got to make sure that the Horseman configures with there and don't conflict, right? So basically now I've got to run another circuit in. I think I'm going to use 1.5 for that, because it's just for the off-peak supply. It says that the off-peak the peak should be minimum or maximum 2.5, off-peak 1.5. So got to run another circuit in. Sorry about this. We're going to mount two spurs, yeah, on here. 2 spurs on there, right? And then the heater, yeah? So this is going to go into 1 spur, and then out of there into the peak. 1.5 is going to go into this spur, out of there into this supply, out of there into the off-peak. And that's how we're going to get off-peak supply, yeah? All right, so I've got to get some 1.5. Luckily, I have got some of this. I've got that heater fixed to the wall. Tomorrow I've got to come in and put the bricks in there, and they're the bricks there. Yeah, as you can see, it's the end of the day. We didn't get as much as I would have liked done, because they're not really, I mean, they knew we were coming, but they're not prepared, because the bench that's in the way where we want one of the heaters to go, and you've got the frame with all that stuff on it where we want the other one to go. As you can see, the only one that I could do is in that room. So I've got that fixed to the wall, not completely, because you have to put the bricks in before you tighten up the screws and fix it solid. So we're going to do that tomorrow. I've got to run another cable to each extra cable, 1.5 3-core FP200 to each point where I dropped off the 2.5 for the off-peak supply. And also I've got to get 2 extra MCBs for that as well. Because when they said they was going to get storage heaters, I thought to myself, but you haven't got economy 7 supply there, so how are you going to do that? So they bought it, and then I just thought, well, I'll get one of those electronic 7. They'll act as the economy 7 thing, but they've got a dual element heater. So that's not what they should have got here. You get that when you have got economy 7 supply. But anyway, I'm going to have to manipulate that and just put the off-peak onto the Horseman electronic 7. It's a bit much for that, but that's what I'm going to have to do. So hopefully we can get that done tomorrow. I don't think we're going to get much done tomorrow, because they don't seem to be rushing to move stuff out of the way for us to get it done. So we'll get the cables in, but the one at this end, until they move all that gear, we can't really run the cable down. The one at the other end, we can get the cable down and everything mounted, but we can't put the heater in because the bench is still in the way. But we'll see how it goes tomorrow. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you tomorrow. Hi there, yeah, I'm back at the industrial unit to do those storage heaters. And I was thinking about them, I'm thinking, for these heaters to work, you definitely need an off-peak supply, which they haven't got, so I've got to create that. So I'm going to create that through that electronic 7. But I'm just thinking that electronic 7 is probably overkill for just that. But I've got them now and I've opened one of them, so I'm going to have to use it. But this is what happens when people buy things without researching them and knowing what they're doing. But anyway, hopefully I can get it going and working properly. So we're continuing with this, installing these 3 storage heaters. This is the area one's going to go here. They've got my 2 spurs set up. It's going to go in that area there. I've fitted that one to the wall. It's not wired up yet. And set my trunk in here. There's the 2 other storage heaters. One of these are going to go over there where I just came from, and the other one's going to go in this area here. So the one in that room here and this one here, we're going to have all the clock and the controls here for them, and then over there I'm going to have a clock for that one. Originally, why I got 2 controls is because one was supposed to go into unit 2 and 2 was going in here, but then they changed it and had one there. Decided to put one down there rather than in the other unit. So those Osman controls that I've got, they're a bit more. I'm not going to fit them. I'm just going to fit a time clock because that's simpler. The Osman control is too sophisticated really for what I'm doing here. It's just a waste. So I'm going to bring them back and just get 2 ordinary time clocks. One to bring these 2 on and one to bring that one on. If I'd configured it differently, I could have had the time clock doing all 3, but I'd have to do it maybe at the fuse board or something like that. But it's probably not a bad thing. It's good to have different controls so you don't lose everything at one time. So I'm going to get on with it and hopefully let you see. With here, I've just all I've done, I drilled a 25mm hole and I just put grommets on it because you don't need to bush and lock nut it too because it's only got the plastic. So just use the little grommet in there, protect the cables coming through, and that's it. It's all sweet. Yeah, no, put this one in here. Yep. Yeah. That hole there. And that one in that hole there. And then what we're going to do, we're going to put the heater here. They're going to run 2 flexes, one into there, one into here, one into the time clock, and then we're going to come out that side into the time clock because one side is controlled by the time clock. Okay? So for now, just connect incoming side or feed there and there. Yeah. All right, you got the 2 spurs in there. Yeah. Make a hole first. Yeah, run a screw through it first before you put it in. You get the drill, make a hole in there. Keep it straight. Okay, cool. Easy. Oh, get 2 of those. Run them screws. Hold it with the polars, yeah? Hold it with the pliers. Run the screw through it. Right. Right, now use your screwdriver to screw that thing into the wall, not the drill. Right. So that's going to be for the peak side of that heater. That's going to be for the peak side of the other heater, and this is going to be for the off-peak side of both of them. Yeah? Cool. Update on what we've done so far. There we've got our boxes up ready for our spurs, and run our trunking down ready to take the cables down to the heater. Got a little bit of flexi going through there to go on this side. That's it. Come around there. Now just have to run this trunking down here across to the heater, and then we can start get our flexing. Got to mount the time clock here just as the same over there. Right, so this is the time clock that's going to bring it on it's going to bring on the off-peak supply at 5 past midnight every night except Saturday and Sundays. Okay, and I've got these lugs here to connect their cables to there. Slightly, I think they could have been, the U-shape could have been a bit wider, would have been better, but it can get on there, so I think that's the best way to connect them. Crimp them on and then just push them over there nice and tight, do a nice connection there. And here we've used these D-clips just to hold the cable in place. We've done it all the way up. I mean, you don't necessarily need to do it, but if it was running across a walkway or a route, exit route, you have to do it. If it's running at a high level across like that. But I thought I'd put it here as well, just in case if there was ever a fire, that would keep them in place rather than falling off and getting in the way. That's what it's supposed to do. And that's the connections done. There's not one for the earth, so I'm just going to put that in a connection block. Okay, cool. When I'm stripping these cables, I find it hard sometimes because I don't want to start down here just in case I nick one of the inner cores. You know, so got to be careful when you're doing that. Well, that's the peak, marked it.
Yeah, I've been struggling with these strippers here. If you look. Not stripping so good, so yesterday I was in the wholesalers, so I bought new ones. Bought one of these. That's beautiful. Look at that. Simple. This is the peak. Yeah, I'm just checking to make sure I've got the right one going to peak and not off peak. This should be the off peak one. Beautiful, that's great. They're so tight. Look at that, beautiful stripper. You know, back in the 70s, I worked in the Mars bar factory for a couple of weeks. And there were some people in there, they were doing panel wiring. And they had these strippers way back then. These type of strippers.
Yeah. That was an experience. That was a joke. That was an experience. You used to have to travel to Slough every day from Islington. I used to meet a geezer at, I think it was Shepherd's Bush, and he used to drive me. He used to get down there, drive down with him. And you know, when you're, I was flipping a bit young and stupid actually, because that geezer, because I kept connecting the earth in the wrong place. That geezer used to charge me to drive, take me down there, right? And I thought to myself, after I finished, years later, I thought, that was dumb. I should have just gone by the train. Well, why was I paying him to take me down there? It's not like he was picking me up and dropping me home. I had to travel to Shepherd's Bush or something to meet him there. It was all silly anyway. But anyway, you learn, I suppose. Yeah, working in that Mars bar factory was a funny experience. I remember a geezer down there. Funny little things to remember. His name was Fingers. His name was Fingers. And he had the biggest fingers I've ever seen. His fingers were big. Wasn't laugh. Wouldn't recommend it though, to be honest. You'd work there. We've got all our ends connected here, phase to neutral, right? So we're going to go around and take all the R1, R2's readings, yeah? Phase to earth. 0.21, that's peak. I don't think off peak's going to work because it's going through the timer, so I'll have to do some sort of connection there. Yeah, see, it's not working. So let's take all the peak readings, yeah? And then we'll come back. Here we go, mate. 0.30. 0.27. Right, a deal. I've put a link across the mains and the storage heater step, right? There, and I've done it down there. So now we should get R1, R2, yeah?
Yep.
0.29. 0.27. There we go. .28. All right. I've got these set up now. The heater should be coming on at 11 o'clock today. And this clock, I've set it to come on at 12:05 midnight and go off at 6 o'clock in the morning from Monday to Friday. And this, the 24-hour side of this is factory set to come on at 6:30, go off at 9:30, come back on at 11, go off at 1. This is during the day. And then come on at 3 o'clock, go off at 5, come on at 6 and go off at 10. But the client wants it, doesn't want it on after 3 o'clock because no one will be here. And then obviously, like I said, the off-peak one's going to be coming on at midnight, warming up and letting the heat out during the day as well. Okay, so I've done this one, go and do the other two. Hopefully it'll go quicker. So I've completed the work. Marked it up at the fuse board there. It's all labelled. Off-peak to 1, off-peak heater 2 and 3 because they're on the same fuse. Peak heater 1, peak heater 2 and 3. Okay, so done. There you are. This is heater 1. This is heater 2 and 3. That's the controls there. That's heater 2. And that's heater 3. So hopefully tomorrow morning they'll come in and it'll be nice and warm. Yeah, that's the end of that job. All sorted. Hopefully tomorrow morning when they come in it'll be nice and warm for them. And I might pop in just to check or give them a call, find out. They'll let me know. So it's all good. That one completed. Move on to the next job. Hope you enjoyed watching it and picked up a few things from it. Hope so. See you next time. Thanks for watching. Don't forget Omari ads and brands. If you want to grow your company, any type of company, give him a call. Or go to his website, check it out and give him a call. Thanks for watching. See you again.